I've never liked mirrors. Not because of superstition. I'm not afraid of ghosts or Bloody Mary. I don't believe in haunted reflections or portals to other worlds. No, I don't like mirrors because they lie. They show you what you want to see, or worse, what you're afraid to. When I inherited my Aunt Clara's boarding house, I hadn't spoken to her in 15 years. Not since the incident. My parents always said she was peculiar. When I was a child, they refused to explain. As an adult, I stopped asking. I'd come to believe some people are better left in the shadows of memory. The house stood on the edge of a dying town in Vermont. 2 stories, old colonial structure, wide front porch, moss-covered roof. It had a name carved into the stone above the front door, Wren Hill. Why anyone would name a house like that, I couldn't say. It looked like the kind of place that held its breath until you left. But I didn't leave. I moved in. My apartment in Boston was leaking and overrun with mildew. When the letter came from the estate lawyer, it felt like a strange kind of grace, a gift from the dead. Clara's place was almost completely furnished, time-worn but intact. Hardwood floors with claw marks, oil paintings of ancestors I didn't recognize. Furniture draped in white sheets like forgotten corpses. But the mirrors, God. The mirrors were everywhere. There was one at the end of every hallway, one over every fireplace, one inside every closet door. Some were antique, warped and cracked, while others were disturbingly clean, as if recently polished. Some rooms had entire walls of mirror panels reflecting back at each other until they stretched into oblivion. The biggest was in the attic. I didn't find it until the 3rd week. There was a pull-string ladder in the upstairs hallway, and when I climbed up, I found an empty room with nothing but dust and a single item, a mirror taller than me, gilded with ornate flowers and clawed feet at the bottom. There was something wrong with it. When I stood in front of it, I saw myself, of course. But I didn't feel like I was looking at a reflection. I felt like I was looking at someone else, like the mirror noticed me. The longer I stared, the more I noticed small discrepancies. My head tilted slightly left, the reflection tilted slightly more. I raised my hand. It hesitated before mimicking. I blinked, and for half a second, it didn't. I laughed at myself and stepped away. "You're losing it," I whispered. I told myself it was grief or stress, or maybe guilt. I hadn't attended the funeral. I hadn't even responded to the lawyer's first letter. But guilt doesn't follow you down the stairs and whisper your name. At night, I heard footsteps. Soft ones like bare feet on the old wood, always after midnight, always pausing outside my bedroom door. I told myself it was the house settling the echoes of history, but I knew better. And I kept dreaming of Clara. She would be standing at the top of the stairs, her white nightgown soaked in water. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Her eyes were black and shining like wet stones. I'd wake up sweating, clutching the sheets like a lifeline. One night I found something scrawled on the inside of my bedroom mirror. It was faint, like a finger dragged through steam. She never left. I wiped it clean. The next night it returned. I stopped using mirrors, covered them with old bed sheets, but the attic one, I couldn't cover it. Every time I tried, the sheet would fall off. Once I even nailed a blanket across it, but by morning it was on the floor. Then I found the tape recorder. It was in the study inside a drawer that refused to open until the exact night I couldn't sleep. It was old with crackling buttons and a yellowed label, Sessions 1973-1977. Curiosity 1. I pressed play. Clara's voice. Session 19 subject has been growing increasingly violent. Unprovoked fits. Claims the reflection is watching him moving independently. I've taken measures to isolate the room, mirrors covered except the primary. A pause, then. He called it the mirror room. But I've never told him that name, not once. He shouldn't know. The tape hissed. A thumb. Then a voice, distorted and soft, male and broken. It's not me in the mirror. I shut it off. I don't remember standing, I don't remember going up the stairs. I only remember the attic door opening on its own and me climbing into the dark with the recorder still playing in my hand. The mirror waited. This time my reflection smiled before I did. I started sleeping less. I drank too much, I began leaving the recorder on at night beside the bed. Here's what I heard. 3:13 in. Some light footsteps, slow breathing, faint whisper. Don't forget your face. 3:27 a.m. Whisper repeated, don't forget your face, don't forget your face. 4:01 am. Sound of laughter, my voice. But I wasn't laughing. I should have left. But something tethered me there, some awful curiosity. I kept listening to Clara's old tapes. They dated back decades. She had documented some boy. She never said his name, only called him the subject. Session 31. The subject refuses to sleep in any room with mirrors, claims his reflection tries to get out. He's begun harming himself, cutting his face to make it different from what he sees. In one tape, she said he tried to gouge out his own eye because the boy in the mirror kept winking at him. Another night, I found a name carved into the underside of my bed. Thomas. That's not my name. It was raining the night I went back into the attic. I don't know why, something had shifted in me. A terrible certainty, the mirror stood there waiting like always. I stepped in front of it, my reflection was already smiling. I touched the glass. It was warm. You're not me, I whispered. The mirror version raised its hand slowly, but instead of mimicking me, it pointed behind me. I turned. No one there. But when I looked back, the reflection was gone. Just empty space. No me, just the room. And then I heard my own voice from inside the mirror. Thomas, it said. I left the attic running. I locked the door behind me, pushed furniture against it. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. I stopped eating. Every reflective surface I smashed. Plates, phones, even puddles on the sidewalk. But it wasn't enough. The mirror was still upstairs, waiting, and it wanted something. On the final tape, Clara's voice was ragged. Session 72. Subject broke containment, entered the mirror room again. The reflection, I saw it. It's no longer mimicking, it speaks now, to him, to me. I believe he's gone, I no longer know which side I'm on. Then a long pause. I should never have kept him here. He was never my nephew, the family lied, he came from the hospital. Wren Hill was meant to be a sanctuary, not a cage, but something got out, or in, I don't know anymore. She whispered something after that. I played it back 15 times. She said, if you're listening to this, it knows your name now. That was 2 nights ago. Since then, I haven't looked into anything reflective. I speak less. I feel watched constantly. And I don't remember sleeping, but I've started waking up in new places. The floor, the hallway, once staring into the mirror in the guest bathroom with blood on my fingertips. I don't remember getting there. I don't remember scratching my own cheek. But I know what I saw in that mirror. He smiled. Then I smiled. We both tilted our heads, but in different directions. I can't trust myself anymore. So I've started filming everything. I set up a camera in the attic, pointing directly at the mirror. Last night I reviewed the footage. At 3:33 a.m. the mirror went black. Not dark black, as if it ceased reflecting. Then something pressed from behind the glass, a hand pale, too long, too many joints. Then it stepped out. I froze, the frame zoomed in. It wore my face, but not my eyes. Its mouth was too wide, its limbs too loose. It looked like something that wore me like a costume, and it walked toward the camera, then vanished. The footage ends there. Tonight is my last night in Wren Hill. I've packed everything, I've burned the old tapes. But as I write this, I'm watching my reflection in the darkened TV screen across the room. It's moving again, smiling again, mimicking no longer. I don't know if I'll make it out. If you find this, if you read this, do not come to Wren Hill. Burn it. Burn the mirrors. And whatever you do, don't answer when your reflection speaks first.